You're watching live shots of the parade square right now. And if you love your mean machines, then you're in for a visual treat. In celebration of SAF Day Parade 2021, the SAF is showcasing 6 of its military platforms as part of the static display, which was brought in during the wee hours.
And if you've just logged into our show, a warm welcome to you. In just a few moments, the SAF Day Parade will start, and you're watching the parade live from the SAFTI Military Institute. This year's parade is organized by the Singapore Artillery Formation, the oldest formation in the SAF.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The parade will be commencing shortly. Kindly switch all mobile devices to silent mode. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Singapore Armed Forces Day Parade 2021. Participating in this year's parade are 4 Guard of Honor contingents and the Singapore Armed Forces Band.
Here comes the parade's second in command to take up his position. The SAF Day Parade makes a comeback this year after a 1-year hiatus. Last year, an SAF ceremony was held instead in light of the COVID-19 situation then.
A COVID management committee was specially set up this year to ensure that COVID-safe management measures were adhered to throughout the rehearsals and the parade preparation.
Dari kiri, cepat jalan!
The SAF band will now lead the regimental colors and the Guard of Honor contingents into the parade square. It's currently playing the Guard of Honor march tune. Very rousing. I feel like joining in the parade myself.
Me too. The Singapore Armed Forces Band has played at very important ceremonies such as SAF Day Parades, welcome ceremonies for visiting foreign dignitaries, change of command parades, and anniversary parades. It was formed in 1994 when the tri-service bands merged to become the premier band of the Singapore Armed Forces.
Behind the band, we have the 33 regimental colors. These are special flags with a very important function. In the past, these flags would be the symbol of the regiment and provide a strong motivational point for the soldiers to fight on. Today, the colors play a symbolic role. It embodies the unit's history, honor, and tradition. They promote cohesion and esprit de corps and instill in the men of the unit a sense of pride, honor, and loyalty.
And here we have 4 Guard of Honor contingents. The first Guard of Honor contingent is formed by the SAF Military Police Command. Falling behind is the 2nd Guard of Honor contingent, formed by the best combat unit, 1st Commando Battalion.
Next up are the 3 state colors representing the Army, Navy, and the Air Force. Together with them is the HQ Supply and Transport Regimental color, which will be retired this year. They are accompanied by the Parade Regimental Sergeant Major. Behind the state colors is the 3rd Guard of Honor contingent, formed by the Naval Diving Unit.
And lastly, we have the 4th Guard of Honor contingent, formed by the airmen and women from the Air Power Generation Command.
Here we see the state and regimental colors taking up their final position.
Alright, komandan! Ke dalam laut! Terus! Kanan komandan! Pandan ke depan! Pandan! Kanan komandan! Hormat masing-masing! Hormat! Senjata! Baris! Rusuk! Senjata! Baris! Serang diri!
The parade's second in command is Major Yo Wei Jie Gerald, S2 121 Squadron. The parade regimental sergeant major is Master Warrant Officer Tan Soon Ming, Brigade Sergeant Major, 76th Singapore Infantry Brigade. The colors regimental sergeant major is First Warrant Officer Ang Chuan Lee Benjamin, Command Chief, 9th Divisional Air Defense Artillery Battalion. The Singapore Armed Forces Band is led by Director of Music, Military Expert 4, Ignatius Wang.
Baris! Seri! Ya!
We are now waiting for the parade commander to take his position on the parade square. And there he is, the parade commander, who will now take over from the parade second in command.
The parade second in command will be handing over the command to the parade commander.
And that's parade second in command, Major Yo Wei Jie Gerald, S2 Deputy Chief Planner, 121 Squadron.
Paris! Senang Day! Read!
The parade commander for this year's SAF Day Parade is Lieutenant Colonel Teo Wei Chi, Commanding Officer 16 Command, Control, Communications, Computers, and Intelligence Battalion. In every parade, the parade commander and the parade regimental sergeant major make sure everything goes as planned. How do they feel about this year's SAF?
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the arrival of Minister for Defense, Dr. Ng Eng Hen.
Paris! Sunday! Here!
Minister for Defense, Dr. Ng Eng Hen, has arrived. This year marks Dr. Ng's 10th year as Minister for Defense and 20th year as an elected Member of Parliament. He previously held office as Minister for Manpower and Education.
Paris! Homa Mantri! Homa! Sanja! Ta! Paris! Russo! Sanja! Ta!
Please be seated.
Paris! Senang Day! Read!
Since 1967, NS has fulfilled a critical need in the nation's defense and security, providing the cornerstone for Singapore's peace and prosperity. National Service is today a national institution that continues to be a pillar of strength in the defense of our country.
As part of SAF Day Parade 2021, we would like to take this opportunity to shout out to all our national servicemen for their steadfast commitment.
And we are now seeing the arrival of our President, Madam Halima Yaakob.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm welcome to our President.
Madam President is greeted by Minister for Defense Dr. Ng Eng Hen and Chief of Defense Force Lieutenant General Melvin Ong.
Paris! Homa President! Homa! Sanja! Ta! Anja! Ta!
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Madam President, the parade is formed up and ready for your inspection, ma'am.
This is a significant moment for our troops as the President inspects the Guard of Honor, recognizing the contributions made by servicemen and women on behalf of the nation. Sworn in on 14th September 2017, Her Excellency is Singapore's 8th President.
First up, the SAF Military Police Command, which upholds and enforces military law, order, and discipline in the SAF during peacetime and war. The formation carries out policing and security ops, as well as ceremonial functions for both MINDEF and the state.
Representing the Army contingent are the men from 1st Commando Battalion, who will be receiving the Best Combat Unit Award this year. Now, the commandos go through one of the toughest training regimes in the SAF. These soldiers are among the SAF's elite troopers, specially trained in airborne, reconnaissance, and raid missions. Representing the Navy are the members of the Naval Diving Unit. The Naval Diving Unit is responsible for all maritime special operations of the SAF, which include general diving, explosive ordnance disposal, and mine disposal.
Representing the Air Force are the airmen and women from the Air Power Generation Command. The command enables the Air Force to generate and sustain effective, timely, and robust air power to achieve the SAF's mission.
In a short while, we will be witnessing the SAF pledge-taking moment led by the Chief of Defence Force. Joining us are our national servicemen, employers and business leaders who will be coming together to recite the SAF pledge and reaffirm their commitment to the defence of our country. As part of the SAF Day celebrations, combined rededication ceremonies will be held across 6 locations, organised by Singapore Manufacturing Federation, Singapore Chinese Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Serbana Jurong, Association for Small and Medium Enterprises, Singapore Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and Singapore Malay Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Servicemen and women from our overseas bases also join in the pledge taking.
Thank you, Madam President.
Parade! Senang Day! Ready!
Ladies and gentlemen, we will now recite the Singapore Armed Forces Pledge, which will be followed by the observance of 1 minute of silence. May we invite Chief of Defence Force, Chief of Army, Chief of Air Force, and Chief of Navy to the saluting dais.
Parade! Steady! Here! Parade! Kali! Senjata!
Chief of Defence Force will now lead us in reciting the Singapore Armed Forces Pledge. Please rise.
Parade! Start! Steady! Here!
We, members of the Singapore Armed Forces, do solemnly and sincerely pledge that we will always bear true faith and allegiance to the President and the Republic of Singapore. We will always support and defend the Constitution. We will preserve and protect the honor and independence of our country with our lives.
Parade! Steady! Here! Parade! Kali! Senjata!
Madam President, Ministers, ladies and gentlemen, over the years, precious sons and daughters of Singapore have lost their lives in the course of service in the SAF. We honor their service and sacrifice to the nation. Let us observe a minute of silence in remembrance of our comrades in arms.
Parade! Tunduk! Parade! Steady! Here!
It's a very solemn and powerful moment whenever
Thank
the
you,
national
CDS,
anthem is
sir.
played and everyone stands to attention.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Baris! Senang day!
Ladies and gentlemen, this year we will witness the retirement of Headquarters Supply and Transport Regimental Colours. The regimental colours will retire as it exits the parade square.
Baris! Sadai! Here! Baris! Hormat panci-panci! Hormat! Senjata!
The regimental colours for Headquarters Supply and Transport Formation was originally presented on 1st July 1995 by our former president, the late Mr. Ong Peng Cheong. Since then, the colours has been a symbol of pride, loyalty, and professionalism for the men and women of the Supply and Transport Formation. Following the establishment of the Combat Service Support Command in year 2006, both supply and transport formations have also gone on to establish their own separate commands in order to better support our Army and the SAF. Having rallied both the sister formations for 26 years, the time has come for this Headquarters Supply and Transport Formation regimental colours to retire and make way for the arrival of two new regimental colours that will serve to rally both the supply and transport commands to greater heights.
Baris! Russo! Senjata! Baris! Senang day!
Introduced in 1969, the Singapore Armed Forces Best Unit Competition is held annually to promote a competitive spirit amongst units. Units are judged in areas such as combat efficiency, marksmanship, security, human resource, and logistical matters. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now invite the President to present the Singapore Armed Forces colours to the best combat unit. Madam President, please.
The best combat unit is 1st Commando Battalion, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Koo Kai Siong.
This will be the 18th consecutive year that the 1st Commando Battalion clinches the SAF's overall best combat unit.
1st Commando Battalion has won 35 times since the SAF Best Unit competition was introduced back in 1969.
Colours are awarded to units in recognition of its achievements in the fields of combat, training, administrative efficiency, and service to community. The colours also promotes unit cohesion, esprit de corps, and instill in the men and women of a unit a sense of pride and loyalty.
In this year's Singapore Armed Forces Day Parade, 4 new regimental colours will be presented. The regimental colours had been consecrated at the ceremonial hall earlier this afternoon. The President will now present the new regimental colours.
Headquarters Singapore Armed Forces Ammunition Command receiving the regimental colours is Commander Singapore Armed Forces Ammunition Command, Military Expert 7, Liu Hin Ban. SAF's regimental colours bears a white background, symbolising a sense of order and efficiency in ammunition operations. The SAF logo consists of a shield, and the centre of the logo is a flame insignia.
Headquarters Supply receiving the regimental colours is Chief Supply Officer Colonel Alex Wang Jin Rong. The red background in the supply regimental colours symbolises camaraderie and esprit de corps within the formation. The supply and transport formations share the same album. Located in the centre of the colours are the bayonet and the gear, which is the symbol of army logistics.
Headquarters Transport receiving the regimental colours is Chief Transport Officer Colonel Chow Wing Cheong. The bayonet in flame orange colours represents perseverance and robustness. The gear embodies the aspiration to enhance mobility in the provision of supplies to the army.
Army Deployment Force receiving the regimental colours is Commander Army Deployment Force Senior Lieutenant Colonel Tra Yu-en Edwin. ADS regimental colours bear a black background, symbolising the strength and power of a unit always ready to act at a moment's notice. The ADF logo consists of a golden prism encompassing a bayonet. Thank you, Madam President.
Ladies and gentlemen, the parade will now pay compliments to the SAF colours. Please rise.
Baris! Sadai! Here! Baris! Homa panchi panchi! Homa! Sanja! Ta! Baris! Russell! Sanja! Ta!
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Madam President, may I have your permission to march off the parade? Ma'am.
Baris akan berjalan keluar dalam masa cepat. Bergerak ke kanan. Ke kanan pusing.
The Colors Party will now form up back into the contingent and meet the parade in the march past. As the Colors Party, these men are actually part of a long tradition that dates back to the early 17th century. Today, the colors remain symbols in modern armed forces to promote cohesion and camaraderie and instill a sense of pride and loyalty in the unit.
Party, led by the state colors, is now forming up for the traditional march past, together with the 4 Guard of Honor contingents. Colors are awarded for achievements in the fields of combat, training, administration, efficiency, and service to the community.
Featured in this evening's parade are 4 Guard of Honor contingents and the Singapore Armed Forces Band. Formations from all 3 services are represented in the parade. Please rise as the colours pass your immediate front. All military personnel in uniform are to salute the colours.
Ladies and gentlemen, leading the parade in the march past is Parade Commander Lieutenant Colonel Teo Wei Chi. Marching behind the 3 state colors is the Parade Regimental Sergeant Major, Master Warrant Officer Tan Sun Ming. Behind the regimental colors is the colors Regimental Sergeant Major, First Warrant Officer Ang Chuan Lee Benjamin.
contingent are personnel from the Singapore Armed Forces Military Police Command led by Captain Kor Tee Seong.
The 2nd Guard of Honor contingent is formed by the Best Combat Unit, 1st Commando Battalion, led by Captain To Jin Chiang.
The next Guard of Honor contingent is formed by personnel from the Naval Diving Unit, Republic of Singapore Navy, led by Captain Teo Po Wei.
The 4th Guard of Honor contingent is from the Air Force, led by Captain Ang Swee Cheong James, and bringing up the rear is the Parade 2nd in Command, Major Yo Wei Jie Gerald.
Ladies and gentlemen, leading the Singapore Armed Forces Band for the March Past is the Drum Major, Military Expert 2 Tra King Hui. On his left is the Band Major, Military Expert 3 Chew Boon Hui. And on his right is the Director of Music, Military Expert 4 Ignatius Wang.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the Singapore Armed Forces Day Parade 2021. Please rise as Her Excellency Madam President takes her leave.
I'm sure all the men and women on parade today feel a great